This is the best week that Democrats and the Democratic Party have had in a very long time, at least since last November. Let me go through it. So let me talk about the three big things this week that I think have really helped Democrats, and I want to go into more specifics with each one. All right, so number one, Tuesday was election day in Florida and Wisconsin. That's number one. Number two, Cory Booker's longest speech in Senate history, which was Tuesday night into most of Wednesday. And then number three, Liberation Day, Donald Trump's announcing of reciprocal tariffs with virtually all of our major and even minor trading partners. So if you add those three things up, I think what you're looking at is the best week for Democrats in a very, very long time. Now, in truth, that's a pretty low bar. They are shut out of power at the White House level, the House level, the Senate level, the gubernatorial level. They don't have a majority of governors, and they have a minority of state legislatures under their control. So it's been a rough period of time since November 5th, 2024, and especially since January 20th, 2025, when Donald Trump becomes president, starts signing executive orders, starts kind of doing what he has done. So it's a low bar, right? But it's absolutely a start for Democrats. When you are down, you need a hand up. You need to do some good things, you need some luck, and you need your opponents to do some dumb things. Well, this week has had a little bit of all of those three things, and I do think Democrats, if you were going to look for, okay, this is when Democrats started to get off the mat, politically speaking, I think this is going to be a week that we look at and say, okay, that might have been the week. All right, so I want to go through each of these more specifically. Before I do that, I want to make a quick pitch. If you don't subscribe to me, I really hope you do today. It's free. You can support independent journalism. What I always say about myself, I'm calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing. I think that's really valuable. Independent, authentic, transparent. You will know why I think what I think, and I will not just say it's a strike because a Republican threw it, and I will not say it's a ball because a Democrat threw it, and vice versa. All right, so let's go through these. So number one on this was a really good week for Democrats list, Election Day. So Tuesday was the first major election that we've had, federal races that we've had since Donald Trump became president. And we had two open House districts in Florida, and we had a statewide race for state Supreme Court in Wisconsin. So I think the Wisconsin race matters the most. It's a swing state. This was a statewide race as opposed to just a race in a congressional district. And in that race, the liberal/Democratic aligned candidate, Susan Crawford, won by 10 points over the conservative Republican aligned guy named Brad Schimmel. Now, what got a lot of attention there was the fact that Elon Musk spent $20+ million in the race. He went into the state in the final days. He kind of made it a referendum on himself. But I think what you should take is, you should take that as a takeaway. That's important. But I also think it's important that in a swing state where basically every statewide race is decided by a point or two, presidential races, governor's races, Senate races, the Democratic aligned candidate got 55 and the Republican aligned candidate got 45. That is like a blowout in a swing state. It's like a 30-point victory somewhere else. That's one. Florida, yes, Democrats lost both of those elections, but in a district that Donald Trump had won by 37 points in November, the Republican winner won by 15. In the other district that Donald Trump had won by 30 points in November, the Republican congressman won by 14. So drastic underperformance, having the performance that Donald Trump did in November. I think that's worth noting too. Now that in a vacuum, it's better. It's for Democrats. They needed something. It's something. But it didn't just happen in a vacuum, because even as that was going on, even as those votes were going on, Cory Booker, New Jersey Democratic senator, took the Senate floor at about 7 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. And he said, I'm going to try to hold the Senate floor, just talk, for as long as I can to protest Donald Trump and his policies. Booker wound up finishing at after 8 o'clock Wednesday night, 25 plus hours straight. You can't leave the Senate floor. So no going to the bathroom for 25 hours straight. I know, thumb. That's a thumb up for Cory Booker's bladder. So Does that matter in some meaningful way? Is a voter who's very occasionally paying attention to politics going to care about Cory Booker talking for 25 hours about Donald Trump? No. But what it does do, I think, is send a message to the Democratic base that at least some of their leaders in Washington get the message that they want opposition to Trump. They want fight. They want people who are going to stand up and say, this is wrong, and we're going to go to extraordinary measures, talking for 25 hours straight, to make sure people are aware of this. Again, in a vacuum, does Cory Booker's talkathon matter? Gets a little attention, makes him a little bit bigger deal among the Democratic base, helps him raise some money, gets him some attention, but probably not. But given that it was happening at the same time, it was dovetailing timing-wise with Tuesday's elections, interesting. Then we get to Wednesday and Donald Trump's so-called Liberation Day. Now, this is Donald Trump, as expected, unveiling a massive package of tariffs with virtually every country that we trade with in the world. In the aftermath of this announcement, the stock markets across the world have tumbled. I'm not going to do updates because by the time I make this video, they'll be outdated, but the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones were all down significantly on Thursday. Losses like we have not seen in weeks, if not months. There's no real optimism among economists and people who pay attention to the economy that these tariffs will work in the near term, that they will cause near-term pain. Near-term pain is bad. All pain is bad in politics. No one likes to inflict pain and have it be blamed on them. Donald Trump is convinced that these tariffs will work in the long term. The problem is his timeline is not the same timeline as congressional Republicans. They need to work in the near term because they can't have, going into an election year, a president who's at 40% approval and whose handling of the economy is at 40%, and with the stock market down 5% since he took office or more. That is a toxic brew to lose the House majority that they narrowly have right now come 2026. So you add it, and again, Trump's tariffs in a vacuum, it's a bigger deal than the two other things I talked about, but I don't know if it guarantees Democrats have had a great week. But when you take with it the election results, which clearly showed an energized Democratic base, a less than energized Republican base, a 10-point win in a swing state, significant improvements in very Republican territory over how Trump did, and Cory Booker standing up, quite literally, for 25 hours straight and talking and protesting Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and Donald Trump with what I think is a giant self-inflicted political wound, getting out and saying we're going to tariff all of these products and goods, and the economy, or at least the stock market, going rapidly downhill. You add all that up, and I think Democrats have had a week. And it's a week unlike they've had. I think they've been on their heels by and large since Donald Trump won the presidency. I think they've played mostly defense since Donald Trump won the presidency, and not all that great defense, candidly. But now this is some offense they're playing. They're having some positive momentum. Now the question is, having one good week and then 10 bad weeks to follow it, that one bad week gets forgotten, right? Momentum in politics, just like in life, matters. Can Democrats keep up that momentum? They've got a good week. The question is, can they make that a good month? Can they make that a good 3 months? Can they make that a good 6 months? That's what we're wondering about as we go forward. But you know what? It all starts, it's like every journey starts with a single step. Every march back to political relevance starts with a good week. This is a good week for Democrats. Again, a couple things. One, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. I'm making videos every day. I'm doing a live stream every Friday. I'll be on at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow doing a live stream, answering your questions. I'm making videos every single day, sometimes a couple videos a day. I'm going to have a premier tier where if people want to pay a little bit of money, I'll make some more videos for you, some specialized content, some longer form content. So subscribe, because that way you'll stay on top of all the videos I'm making. The other thing you can do in this video is you can like it. Simple, thumbs up it. You can comment on it. Again, simple, offer your thoughts. Both of those things help me with the YouTube algorithm. Both of those things help this channel grow to people who are not currently subscribers. Get it seen more. That's a virtuous circle. The more it gets seen, the more videos I can make, the more it gets seen. You see how that works. Last thing to do, and this is old school, tell a few people about this channel. Tell people, hey, this guy used to work at the Washington Post and CNN. Now he's out on his own. He's making his own way, calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing. I think this guy's interesting. Don't always agree with him, but he's interesting and thoughtful, I hope. So tell your friends. All right, everybody. Take care.